is 2024's It's What's Inside, a welcome gift.
Or Pandora's Box. Find out next on the cutting room floor. What's up, misfits and metalheads? Welcome to another episode of the cutting room floor. We are from the band Cut Like This. I am Thorn Black.
I'm Roseblood.
And today we are talking about It's What's Inside, currently streaming on Netflix, made in 2024. But first, don't forget, we have music right here, YouTube, Spotify, Bandcamp, all over the place. And big shout out to our favorite singer ever, Roseblood. Today is Roseblood's birthday. And yes, we're not missing an episode. We're shooting it today and we're putting it out today because you need your movie homework. Everybody big up Roseblood in the comments. Give me some roses in there and some birthday emotes. Let's wish her a good one. All right, everybody? Now, Rose, why don't we dive into this one a little bit and why don't you tell them about it?
All right. Well, It's What's Inside was definitely had a big splash when it came out. And I was happy to finally review it. This is one that's been in my movie list for a while now. It was very unique. It's definitely a mind-bendy, twisty kind of jam. This film is about a bunch of people that went to school together that are being reunited. A lot of them haven't seen each other for a very long time. Especially
school reunions.
Yeah, school reunions are always tricky. But this one is made far trickier when one of the guests, Forbes, decides to bring a unique party favor, a special device that allows you. Well, basically, the device is a device that allows you to hop from one body to another for a short amount of time. So that's basically the premise.
Nothing could go wrong.
Nothing can go wrong. Yeah. These people are going to find out that indeed many horrible things will go wrong. This is written and directed by Greg Jardin. He actually did the Cowboy Bebop live action movie, as well as he's done.
Get through all of that, but visually it was
quite stunning. It was quite stunning,
yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense actually when you think about it, because if you look at his body of work, he's done a lot of music videos and stuff like that. So he definitely, and Cowboy Bebop is a show that really relies very heavily on the music, and the visuals and the music were such a really big part of it, much more so. The whole acid jazz, future jazz soundtrack was very much a very big part of it. So it makes sense that you would get somebody that had this big background in doing lots of music videos to do something that was so intertwined with that.
Nice.
This film was, I really like any kind of sci-fi stuff like that. We saw behind the scenes with the director, and he was talking about how he Twin Peaks was one of his favorite shows. I could see that. I could see that in the way that things played out here. And a lot of the, you have to really pay attention. There's a lot of little details. So definitely make sure that you are not indulging too much when you watch this film. Otherwise, you will be head scratching. You will be like, wait, what? Yeah. And you're going to have to rewind a bunch.
This is totally a movie.
You got to pay attention.
That you have to pay attention. Really pay attention.
Yeah.
Because it's going to get really confusing if you're not paying attention.
There are visual cues throughout in the movie, when things go into there's he does this effect where everything kind of goes red and you can see who's in what body. So keep an eye out for that.
I think that was a necessary tactic.
Yeah.
It was smart and necessary.
Yeah.
Because
it was very good because it definitely helps you keep in mind, wait a second, because otherwise it's it can get a little difficult.
Yeah.
They also early on adopt a thing where because they're basically playing werewolf or mafia, depending on where you're from. It's called different things, but it's it's a guessing game of who's the killer or whatever. So this is kind of a version of that where you're guessing who's in whose body, right? And if you get it right, they take Polaroids at the beginning, and you have to put the Polaroid of who you actually are on your chest, so people know who is actually in that body. And then the game continues, and there's a couple of rounds. I think he said there's like 3 rounds that they have enough time, like ability to do before the machine can't do another jump, basically. So very interesting. I thought that the character Forbes, that's the
Imagine if that was real, and then we swapped bodies, and I was on vocals like.
and I was playing guitar. That would be fun. I definitely would do some things. I'm not gonna talk about them here.
Back to the review, you. Back to the review.
It's my birthday. I can do what I want. I'm drunk with power. Anyway, going back to this movie, so we have quite an interesting crowd, and especially when you think about it, these are, any kind of reunion. This has 2 stress points, right? This is a reunion, but the reason why they are reuniting, it's not really a reunion. It's actually a wedding is happening. This Ruben, who's like kind of like the most popular dude in the group or whatever, he is getting married. Right? So that's the reason why everybody is getting together this weekend, because they're all going to be going to the wedding tomorrow. This is like the night before it, right? So that's like, it's double stress points, because it's like a school reunion basically, but it's also like a wedding. And those are things that like put people through lots of stress. And those are also 2 events where a lot of the hidden tensions and the secrets, or, you know what I mean? Like whatever rivalries from back in the day, you know what I mean? That's when all of those things can kind of come to the front. And I think this was like a perfectly...
Remember that one time? Like,
yeah, exactly. So it was perfectly orchestrated to be a really, really bad time for these people, like a good time, but it could also lead to a lot of tension. So I thought that was a very good setup for what we were going to end up doing. It gave me a couple of shades of Talk to Me. Remember that movie, Talk to Me, with the hand thing? And they could Talk to Me is a horror movie where, people use this totem thing, and it's a really creepy, like little disembodied hand, and you hold the hand and a spirit will inhabit your body. And you can only do it for a certain amount of time, right? So it's a similar kind of setup, but it's a totally different thing, because instead of spirits, it's people. You know what I mean? It's like it's the people that are specifically in the room that are hooked up to the machine. So it definitely, hijinks will ensue. All of that being said, we rate films here on a scale of 5 chainsaws being a cinematic masterpiece.
Yes.
1 chainsaw, you can't even trim a bush with that thing. You can't do nothing. It's like sputtering,
Nope.
sputtering out. It's not working. All right. So that being said, Thorn Black, how many chainsaws would you rate It's What's Inside?
I'm going to rate It's What's Inside of 3.5 chainsaws. Now, for me personally, after a while, I think I personally got a little character fatigued with some of the switches and keeping track. And then they have Polaroids. And granted, they did do some things to make sure that it could stand out. So they would remind you throughout the movie. This is just a personal me kind of thing. I do give them credit for having multiple ways of showing who's in whose body and consistently doing it from time to time. This is a cool story. It is a bit of a complex one. And I think that's mainly it. After a while, I got a little bit of character fatigue trying to remember who was where and whatnot after a little bit. So it is well shot, it is well acted, and it's a very interesting story. This is just better suited for maybe somebody who's looking for something a little bit more along these lines than myself. But it is a well done movie. Rose, what are you going to give this one?
I am going to give this one 4 chainsaws. I think that it's really well done. I like this kind of movie. I am all about the intrigue. I'm all about like mysteries and clues and puzzles and stuff like that. So when I am confronted with one, I'm always like deep in the analysis mode, you know. So for me, definitely there is. I thought that they very cleverly did a lot of things right off the bat to establish like certain mannerisms and certain things that characters do, and the actors did a good job of like messing up and doing those things, even though they were in the other bodies trying to trick each other. They would mess up and they would fall back into whatever little habits that they have.
Makes me feel like that Doctor Who-ish kind of air where you know what I mean. They'll carry
like
certain
carrying certain
they definitely hit points like that.
Behavioral tics, whether it's a behavioral tic or a verbal thing, whatever it is. I thought that the actors did a great, excellent job of like, okay, I'm gonna do this mannerism. Matter of fact, I think everybody put in a great job acting. Period. Like they were definitely here to pull something off that that's difficult. It's difficult to be to be your character and then also be somebody else's character, and then to hop into yet another character, depending on the person, like they switch bodies a couple of times.
It's good planning to have continuing character traits for different characters
exactly.
having to pick up the ball where one left off in the same movie.
Yeah, and I like the drama. Planning. I like the drama between the characters and stuff like that, the romantic tensions between certain characters. I thought it was hilarious that like the character that's supposed to be the dumpy character or whatever that like is jealous of one of the other characters is gorgeous, of course, you know what I mean? But they do a good job of like dressing her down and stuff like that.
Yeah, but also very CW. I'm like, like you're mad pretty. Like
you are
you don't
so
have
beautiful.
The online clout,
like what are you talking about?
Come on, your mirror's not.
But that is the current
sure.
dysphoria that I see around, on like so many internet spaces. Like people compare themselves to people that are, influencers online.
Because
and stuff.
Social media.
Yeah.
Don't we love it?
Don't compare yourself to other people. You're awesome exactly the way that you are.
Don't let social media depress you.
Be weirder.
More weird. More weirder. How weird can I get? I don't think I've reached my maximum weirdness yet.
I don't think so either.
So
I don't think so either. I think that we can always get weirder.
Let's see if we can ramp it up a little bit.
You know what?
That's my goal for this coming year. Can I be even weirder?
That's right. And I think that should be all of your goals too. Be weird. Be yourself.
All right,
it's
everybody.
Better.
Don't forget, leave me some love for Roseblood, our favorite singer and movie reviewer. Leave some love for Rose. I'm also going to put a link in the comments to our digital album. It's only $4.99 if you really want to show some love. Hook a band up. That's going to be all for today. We are Cut Like This, and we are out.